Imagine waking up to find your smart home devices, maybe your thermostat, your doorbell camera, they've been hijacked, silently watching, or worse, participating in some kind of cyber attack.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
Or consider a routine email, one that looks totally harmless, that could bring an entire manufacturing plant, maybe a really critical piece of our economy, just grinding to a halt.
Hmm.
This isn't like some far-fetched plot from a Netflix thriller. It's the daily reality of our, well, intricately interconnected lives.
Yeah.
How vulnerable are you or maybe your future organization truly in this ever-expanding digital landscape? And what strategic steps does it actually take to genuinely protect what matters most?
That's such a vital question because, from the vast expanse of the cloud down to the smallest chip in your smart coffee maker, everything is connected.
Everything.
And every single connection, really at its core, it starts with data communications.
Yeah.
But with that incredible transformative connectivity comes an equally profound responsibility. The imperative to manage the inherent risks that, well, they just come along for the ride. And that's where the insights we're sharing today become truly powerful for your career in the digital world.
Absolutely. And as we prepare to dive deep into fortifying our digital future, maybe take a moment right now. Hit that like button, subscribe to the deep dive, and share this with anyone you know who's looking to boost their career or, just become more digitally resilient.
Yeah, definitely do that.
You absolutely won't want to miss the insider tips and real-world strategies we're about to unpack. And remember, all the resources, the standards we discuss, they're all in the description below, meticulously curated for you. Includes materials from our home here at Tarleton State University's Dr. Sam Pack College of Business.
Lots of good stuff there.
Today, we're embarking on a really crucial deep dive into the critical world of risk management and data communications. We're drawing powerful insights from the CompTIA network plus Guide to Networks, specifically Chapter 10.
Good chapter.
Along with expertise from cybersecurity leaders like SuckerServe and GYTPL and vital industry standards from the high-value manufacturing Catapult and NIST.
Yeah, key players.
Our mission today isn't just about understanding the nuts and bolts of tech, right? It's about empowering you, whether you're a BCIS student charting your career path or maybe a seasoned business professional navigating digital transformation.
Right. Practical knowledge.
Giving you the knowledge to proactively identify, rigorously assess, and strategically mitigate cyber risks. Think of this as maybe your shortcut to being exceptionally well-informed, ready to tackle the managerial issues, the hardware, the software, the protocols, and, well, the overall solutions needed for truly resilient data and voice communications. Let's get started.
Let's do it. Hashtag tag to NoChai. The criticality of cyber risk management in our connected world.
Okay, so to really grasp the significance of today's deep dive, let's frame why understanding risk management, particularly as it's laid out in Chapter 10 of the CompTIA Network Plus Guide, is so fundamentally vital. For our students in BCIS 1347 Data Communications, this isn't just, theoretical coursework. It's a direct pathway, a practical roadmap, really, to preparing for those industry standard certification exams.
Exactly. The certs matter.
But more than that, it's about equipping you with the hands-on toolkit needed to design, implement, and manage secure networks in your future careers. This is the difference between simply knowing about security and actually doing security.
Yeah, putting it into practice.
Yeah.
Transforming that academic insight into, real-world application.
That's precisely it. This deep dive will refine your capabilities, enabling you to formulate a risk assessment and develop an appropriate security strategy to mitigate risks for a given set of requirements. That's straight from the course outcomes.
And that skill set is just invaluable. It bridges the gap between classroom theory and the complex demands of, say, a modern control room or a corporate environment. It ensures you're not just learning concepts, but actually acquiring the practical expertise to address the multifaceted scenarios you'll undoubtedly encounter in your professional journey.
And when we talk about this being non-negotiable, we really mean it. Just look at the accelerating adoption of Industry 4.0 and the Internet of Things IoT across every sector.
It's everywhere.
Companies are connecting absolutely everything imaginable. Robotic arms on smart factory floors, intricate cloud-based supply chain systems, you name it. And while this interconnectedness offers, unprecedented efficiency and innovation, it also dramatically expands our exposure to cyber threats. Consider this. UK statistics from 2021 revealed that over a staggering 39% of businesses were hit by a cyber attack.
Wow, that's high.
And among those, 31% faced weekly attempts. But here's the really unsettling part. These numbers likely don't even capture the incidents that quietly slipped under the radar, the ones businesses didn't detect.
The unknown unknowns.
Exactly. Think of a physical fortress. You would never, ever leave its gates wide open, would you?
Of course not.
So why would we treat our digital doors with any less vigilance?
Your analogy of the fortress is spot on. The expanded landscape of system vulnerabilities, made worse by the prevalence of remote work and the extensive integration of cloud computing and IoT devices.
Right.
It's fundamentally shifted the cybersecurity challenge.
Right. The playing field changed.
While these technologies offer immense benefits, they've also opened up new, complex, and often unexpected avenues for cyber threats. And what's often overlooked is that global connectivity means a single, unsuspecting click by an employee, maybe on a phishing email, can instantly put every site, every customer, every supplier, every employee at risk.
Just one click?
Just one. And frequently, the company directly attacked isn't even the ultimate target. They might simply be an easily exploited backdoor for a larger, more lucrative objective.
Using them as a stepping stone.
Exactly. This reality deeply informs our course objective of exploring the current and future impact and direction of these technologies, highlighting that robust security isn't merely an add-on. It's the foundational pillar upon which all future technological progress really rests.
Okay, so how do we begin to build this digital fortress? Our sources, including cybersecurity experts like SecureServe, they emphasize that the very first step, a non-negotiable one, is something called device hardening.
Foundational.
This isn't just a technical term. It's a critical process for reducing potential security risks by strengthening devices before they are deployed into your network.
The before is key.
Right. And here's a common misconception. Devices, whether it's a server, a router, or even a smart sensor, they do not come pre-hardened out of the box. You can't just plug them in and assume they're secure.
No, definitely not. Default settings are rarely secure settings.
Imagine a pilot preparing for a flight, meticulously checking every system, or athletes undergoing rigorous training before a major competition. You wouldn't send them out unprepared, right?
Makes perfect sense.
Device hardening is that vital pre-deployment preparation for your digital assets.
That's a crucial distinction you're making, because hardening is far more than just a good idea. It forms an essential, foundational layer in a truly multi-layered cybersecurity strategy.
Okay.
Its benefits are transformative. It actively eliminates attack surfaces, drastically reduces vulnerabilities, and safeguards sensitive data against potential exploits. Consider simple, yet profoundly impactful examples.
Like what?
Like enabling a screen lock after a brief period of inactivity. Seems small, right?
Yeah.
But without it, anyone could walk up and gain access to a system. Or disabling unnecessary remote desktop protocol, RDP, capabilities. RDP is a commonly exploited Windows feature that attackers frequently target to gain unauthorized access.
Oh, okay. I've heard of RDP exploits.
Yeah, they're common. By proactively addressing these kinds of configurations, you're directly contributing to vital skills outcomes, like configuring network security for given requirements. You're effectively building a secure posture from the ground up, rather than trying to patch it later.
Building it in, not bolting it on.
Exactly.
Okay, with that foundation of hardening understood, let's now confront the nature of the enemy. And here's a sobering statistic. Human errors, ignorance, and simple omissions contribute to more than half of all security breaches.
Over half. That's huge.
It's not always the shadowy, super advanced hacker in a dark room. Often the weakest link is, well, us. People. This brings us squarely to the realm of social engineering, which at its core is basically manipulating social relationships to gain access. While many of us are familiar with the term, the sophistication of these attacks is constantly evolving.
Oh, absolutely. They get clever.
Think about phishing. It's no longer just poorly worded emails, right? Now it's highly crafted messages with legitimate-looking logos designed to trick you into revealing credentials.
Yeah, they look very convincing sometimes.
And spear phishing takes this a step further, targeting specific high-value individuals with tailored, incredibly convincing messages.
Personalized attacks. Much harder to spot.
Then there's baiting, where maybe a physical lure like a seemingly abandoned USB drive is left for someone to find and plug into their system, unknowingly installing malware.
The curiosity factor.
Quid pro quo attacks involve a hacker offering a service, maybe fake technical support, in exchange for sensitive info.
Right. I'll help you if you give me your password. Bad trade.
We also see physical tactics like dumpster diving, literally sifting through trash for discarded sensitive documents, tailgating, where an unauthorized person follows an authorized one into a secure area.
Holding the door open.
piggybacking, which is similar but often relies on the unwitting help of the authorized person, and shoulder surfing, just, peering over someone's shoulder to capture their password.
Old school, but still works.
The common thread here: these attacks exploit trust and human nature, not necessarily technical vulnerabilities.
That's a critical point. The core insight here is that while social engineering attacks might seem simplistic, they often follow a predictable attack cycle, making them surprisingly effective. But the single most important defense against all forms of social engineering isn't some complex piece of software.
What is it?
It's robust, continuous employee training. It's about cultivating a deep awareness and, frankly, a healthy skepticism among your workforce.
The human firewall idea again.
Exactly. And it's not just external attackers we need to worry about. Insider threats can be equally, if not more, damaging.
Right, people already inside.
And these aren't always malicious. Often, negligence or unintentional actions. An employee unknowingly clicking a malicious link, for example, can inadvertently open the door. Consider the insidious nature of an advanced persistent threat, an APT, when an attacker gains entry, perhaps through phishing, and then just stays there undetected for a long time, effectively becoming an insider.
Lying low.
Exactly. To mitigate these multifaceted risks, we need a layered approach, conducting thorough background checks, rigorously enforcing the principle of least privilege, meaning individuals only have access to what's absolutely necessary for their role.
Nothing more?
Implementing checks and balances on employee behavior, and deploying data loss prevention, or DLP technologies. This holistic strategy directly contributes to your ability to configure network connections, services, security, and management for a given set of requirements by safeguarding the most unpredictable element, the human factor.
Makes sense. Okay, so beyond the human element, we also confront risks inherent in the very technology we use, the hardware, the software, the network design itself. One of the most disruptive and widely known is the denial of service, or DOS attack.
Yes, DOS flooding the gates.
Imagine a major e-commerce site, crucial for holiday shopping, suddenly becoming inaccessible because it's utterly overwhelmed with a flood of illegitimate traffic. That's a DOS attack.
Crippling for business.
But the threat rapidly escalates. A distributed DOS, or DDoS attack, involves multiple compromised systems launching the assault simultaneously. Makes it far harder to pinpoint and stop.
Strength in numbers for the attackers.
Then we have variations like distributed reflection DOS, DRDOS, which leverages third-party servers to reflect the attack traffic, obscuring the attacker's true origin.
Making attribution tricky.
Amplified DRDOS takes this a step further, magnifying the attack volume by exploiting vulnerable services that generate large responses.
Using the internet's own infrastructure against itself.
There's even permanent DOS, or PDS, which can physically damage a system's firmware, basically bricking the device, rendering it completely unusable.
Ouch. Actual hardware damage.
And surprisingly, we sometimes see friendly DOS attacks, unintentional but equally disruptive events where maybe misconfigurations or simply overwhelming legitimate traffic accidentally crash the system.
Yeah, the hug of death.
The key insight here is that while the methods vary, the core objective is always the same: prevent legitimate users from accessing services, causing significant operational and financial damage.
These technology risks, as you've highlighted, extend far beyond just DOS attacks. What's crucial for you, the listener, to understand is that vulnerabilities can arise from insecure wireless transmissions, weak authentication mechanisms, or a complete absence of encryption in data communications.
Basic security hygiene missed.
Exactly. Even subtle flaws in software design can open wide doors for attackers. Let's consider some specific examples. On-path attacks, often called man-in-the-middle, where an attacker intercepts and potentially alters communication between two parties without their knowledge. Then there are authentication attacks, or DEath, which can forcefully kick legitimate users off a wireless network, creating an opening.
Annoying and dangerous.
Insecure protocols and services, like older unencrypted versions of HTTP or FTP, they act like open invitations for data interception. DNS poisoning, also known as DNS spoofing, is a sophisticated attack that can redirect users to malicious websites by corrupting DNS records.
Sending you to the wrong place online.
And of course, backdoors, hidden entry points into a system, sometimes left by developers for maintenance or, more nefariously, by malicious actors for future access. Understanding these inherent risks isn't just about identifying problems. It's fundamental to your ability to select appropriate wired, wireless, and optical fiber networking components and configure secure network connections services security.
Right. You need to know the weaknesses to choose the right defenses.
Precisely. ensuring that the very foundation of your telecommunications and data communications infrastructure is robust and resilient.
And then, of course, there's malware. It's the pervasive digital monster that constantly evolves. Malware is broadly defined as any program or piece of code designed to intrude upon or harm a system or its resources.
The digital bad guys.
While you're likely familiar with the terms, the sheer volume and sophistication of malware are, well, astounding. Viruses attach themselves to legitimate programs, spreading covertly.
Piggybacking on legit software.
Trojan horses masquerade as harmless software but carry a malicious payload, tricking users into executing them.
The wooden horse trick.
Worms are particularly insidious because they can replicate themselves and spread across networks without any human interaction.
Self-propagating. Nasty.
Bots can turn your computer into a zombie for a larger botnet controlled by an attacker. And perhaps the most terrifying in recent years? Ransomware.
Ransomware.
Which encrypts your data and demands payment for its release, often bringing entire organizations to a standstill.
The digital hostage situation. The real challenge with malware, and the critical insight here, lies in the characteristics that make it increasingly difficult to detect and eliminate. We see encryption being used not just for legitimate data, but to encrypt the malware itself,
Hiding itself.
making it harder for antivirus software to identify. Stealth capabilities allow malware to hide its presence on a system, often by modifying system files or processes.
Like a chameleon.
Polymorphism is particularly challenging. It allows malware to change its code structure with each infection, rendering traditional signature-based detection methods less effective.
So it looks different each time.
Exactly. And then there's time dependence, where malware lies dormant until a specific date or event, making it incredibly hard to track and predict.
A ticking time bomb.
Pretty much. This constant evolution is why resources like the Trellix Advanced Research Center are invaluable for staying ahead. These pervasive and adapting threats underscore precisely why a deep understanding of telecommunications and data communications technology fundamentals is paramount.
Because that's what you're trying to protect.
Exactly. It's these fundamentals that we're ultimately aiming to protect against a constantly shifting adversary.
Okay, with a clear understanding of the threats, let's now turn our attention to the blueprint for defense, the meticulous process of risk assessment. Our sources, particularly the high-value manufacturing catapult, propose a powerful 5-step framework for the risk analysis of operating technology.
A structured approach. Good.
The foundational first step is to identify and understand the system. This means a comprehensive inventory of all the components that make up your operational technology environment.
You can't protect what you don't know you have.
Precisely. We're talking about basic process control systems, or BPCSs, which manage industrial operations, supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, systems essential for controlling large-scale infrastructure like power grids,
Critical infrastructure stuff.
distributed control systems, DCSs, and the broader category of industrial automation control systems, IACS assets. We also include safety instrumented systems, SISs, which are absolutely critical for preventing dangerous failures.
Safety first.
And of course, all your interconnected Internet of Things devices and cloud-based solutions. This isn't just a simple list. It's about grasping the intricate web of digital and connected elements within your organization.
Seeing the whole ecosystem.
Because you cannot protect what you don't know you possess.
And that's a key insight. Discovering the assets extends far beyond just tangible hardware. An asset isn't merely a server or a workstation.
Right. What else counts?
It encompasses purchased or bespoke software, all your information and data, whether physical documents or digital files, the vital services your organization provides, your physical locations and buildings, and, critically, your employees themselves.
People as assets. Interesting.
Absolutely. To effectively manage this complexity, you absolutely need an asset register. Think of it as a meticulously detailed inventory.
Like a master list.
Exactly. It includes unique identifiers for each asset, its physical or logical location, its assigned risk profile, the person responsible for it, its network connectivity details, and even its specific firmware and operating system versions.
Getting really granular.
You have to. Furthermore, visual aids like network and deployment diagrams, such as the Purdue model illustrated in our sources, are essential to visually map out the architecture and interconnections of all these assets.
Seeing how it all fits together.
This entire process directly underpins the knowledge outcome of being able to identify network infrastructure and the skills outcome of designing a logical network design. Without this foundational clarity, any defense strategy will inevitably have blind spots.
Okay. Once we have a clear picture of what we're protecting, the next crucial step in our blueprint is defining your boundaries and risk tolerance. A risk assessment isn't like a monolithic undertaking. It can be scoped at different levels of a business.
Like, you can focus it.
Our sources outline 3 tiers. Tier 1, the organizational level, looking at company-wide strategic risks. Tier 2, focused on specific mission and business processes. And Tier 3, which delves into granular information systems.
Different levels of zoom.
For practical purposes, especially when starting, it's often most effective to focus your assessment on high-value critical service areas, places that contain sensitive data or are demonstrably most at risk.
Prioritize based on value and vulnerability.
This approach makes the assessment manageable, targeted, and hopefully immediately impactful.
That targeting is vital. A core component of this stage is defining a system's baseline security criteria, which fundamentally depends on understanding your company's risk tolerance.
Okay, risk tolerance. How much risk are we willing to accept?
Exactly. And this isn't a subjective guess, it's a strategic decision. It's heavily influenced by factors like strict compliance requirements. Think HIPAA for healthcare data, PIPEDA for personal information protection.
Regulations.
The inherent value and sensitivity of your data, competitive pressures within your industry, and of course the preferences and directives of senior management.
What leadership is comfortable with.
Our sources highlight how different risk tolerance levels, high, medium, or low, are directly tied to these factors. For example, a startup with non-sensitive public data might have a higher risk tolerance than, say, a financial institution handling billions in transactions. They demand a very low tolerance.
Makes sense. Different stakes.
This strategic decision about risk tolerance directly impacts your security maturity and the types of technology and processes you'll deploy. It moves your organization from being purely reactive to proactive, and ultimately towards adaptive security strategies.
Okay. Now that we've clearly identified what we're protecting and our acceptable risk level, it's time to unmask the threats. A cybersecurity threat is more than just a vague fear. It's any event that could adversely impact a company's operations, its assets, its employees, or its reputation.
Anything bad that could happen digitally.
This can occur through unauthorized access, destruction, disclosure, modification, or denial of service. At its core, the foundational mission of cybersecurity is to maintain the CIA triad: confidentiality,
Keeping secret.
integrity,
Keeping data accurate.
and availability.
Making sure things work when needed.
But, as our sources also underscore, we must add authentication to that list, verifying the identity of users and systems to control who accesses what.
Right. Proving you are who you say you are. CIA plus A.
Exactly.
And this leads us to the meticulous identification of threat sources and their potential threat events. Threat sources are incredibly diverse. They could be human, a malicious insider, a careless employee, environmental, a flood, a power outage, or even structural, a hardware failure, a software bug. We categorize them as adversarial thinking about the attacker's capability, intent, targeting, versus non-adversarial, which covers a broader range of effects from unintentional incidents.
Okay, intentional versus accidental, basically.
Kind of. Once we know the sources, we then identify threat events, the actual occurrences. Adversarial events are the actions attackers take. Things like reconnaissance,
Scoping things out.
network scanning, open source intelligence gathering, crafting attack tools, phishing emails, counterfeit websites, delivering malware via email or removable media, exploiting vulnerabilities, physical access, poorly configured systems, zero-day attack,
The actual attack phase.
conducting attacks, DOS, brute force logins, and achieving results like data exfiltration or integrity loss. Non-adversarial events can be just as impactful. Think about accidentally spilling sensitive information, mishandling critical data, incorrect privilege settings, or environmental events like a fire.
So bad things can happen without a hacker involved.
Absolutely. The complexity here is that a single threat source, say a sophisticated nation-state actor, can initiate multiple events like phishing, leading to data theft and network disruption.
Right.
Conversely, a single event like a critical server going offline could be caused by multiple sources, a DOS attack, an admin error, or a power failure. Meticulously mapping these relationships is absolutely crucial for a truly thorough and effective risk assessment.
Understanding the cause and effect.
Right. Provides the foundational insights for formulating a risk assessment.
Okay. With threats unmasked, We then pivot to pinpointing weaknesses, what we call vulnerabilities. These are the weaknesses in the system, security procedures, internal controls, or implementation that can be exploited by a threat source.
The chinks in the armor.
And it's important to recognize that this is a constantly evolving target. As technology advances, new vulnerabilities are discovered and emerge, creating a perpetual challenge for defenders.
Always playing catch-up, in a way. The real insight here is that identifying these weaknesses requires systematic rather than haphazard approaches. One powerful method is a gap assessment.
Okay, what's that?
It identifies and quantifies the differences between the current and target states of a system. This involves detailed employee interviews, site tours, rigorous reviews of existing policies and documentation.
Seeing where you are versus where you want to be.
Exactly. Our sources recommend referencing industry standards like ISO 27001, IEC 62443 32.2020, and NIST SPE 830 for guidance. They provide a benchmark for best practices. Another incredibly potent method is penetration testing.
Pen testing, ethical hacking.
Or essentially, yes. Here, you actively attempt to breach some or all of the system's security using tools and techniques an adversary might employ.
See if you can break in yourself.
This could involve finding vulnerabilities in custom software, testing specific scenarios like a lost laptop, or assessing your organization's ability to detect and respond to an attack. These tests can be white box, where testers have full knowledge of your system.
They know the layout.
Or black box, where they operate with no prior information, mimicking a real external attacker.
Coming in blind.
Tools like Simply Email for reconnaissance, Hashcat for password cracking, Air Cracking for wireless exploitation, Metasploit for penetration testing, and various PowerShell scripts are common in this field. Beyond these, we have active and passive testing, active scanning networks for devices and vulnerabilities, and passive discovery through surveys, diagrams, logs, traffic analysis.
Different ways to find the weaknesses.
This entire comprehensive process is incredibly relevant to developing the skills to identify architecture of networks, to facilitate troubleshooting techniques, and apply appropriate network troubleshooting techniques.
Because you can't troubleshoot effectively.
If you don't fully comprehend where your system's weaknesses lie.
Okay. Okay. So, we've meticulously identified our assets, clearly defined our security boundaries, unmasked the myriad threats, and pinpointed our vulnerabilities. Now comes the truly crucial step, quantifying the danger.
Putting numbers on it.
It's one thing to know you have risks. It's an entirely different and more critical task to understand their actual measurable impact and likelihood, and it's a step often overlooked. Our sources indicate that while 54% of UK businesses identified cyber risks, only a third, 33%, actually conducted a full risk assessment. That gap represents a significant blind spot.
Yeah, knowing isn't the same as assessing. This is where the strategic value of risk assessment really shines. Risk quantification, as detailed in our sources, involves 3 distinct, interconnected phases. First, you determine likelihood.
How likely is this bad thing to happen?
Right. Assessing the probability of a specific threat exploiting a vulnerability, this can be done qualitatively high, medium low, or quantitatively with actual numbers, as shown in matrices like Table 16 in materials.
Okay.
Second, you determine severity or impact, figuring out the magnitude of loss or damage if that event actually occurs.
How bad will it be if it does happen?
Exactly. This covers various critical categories: operational disruption, financial losses, health and safety impacts, legal ramifications, damage to public confidence, harm to people, environmental consequences. Table 17 covers this.
A lot of potential impacts.
Oh, yeah. Finally, you calculate overall risk by combining both likelihood and severity. This is typically done using risk matrices, like the 3x3 or 5x5 examples shown in Tables 1821.
Likelihood times impact? Sort of.
Sort of, yeah. It provides a clear, visual, structured way to prioritize risks. The output of this entire quantification process is then recorded in your risk register, a central repository for all your risk information.
The master list of risks.
This rigorous process is absolutely central to the skills outcome of formulating a risk assessment, because it provides the concrete, data-driven insights needed to make informed, strategic decisions about where to allocate your limited resources for maximum protective effect.
Got it. Makes total sense. All right, now that we've methodically identified and quantified our risks, it's time to shift gears and actively start building the fortress, implementing robust strategies for threat remediation and risk mitigation.
Putting the defenses in place.
And we're going to revisit something we touched upon earlier, but with actionable depth: device hardening. This truly is your first and arguably most critical line of defense, taking deliberate steps to secure every piece of technology.
Back to hardening. It's that important.
Our sources, including standards from the University of Missouri System and SecureServe, provide a clear, prescriptive path.
Indeed. The question becomes, what exactly does this foundational hardening entail? Our sources provide a comprehensive what to harden checklist. It starts with operating system configuration.
Okay, the OS itself.
Yeah, not just applying the latest patches, but meticulously disabling any unnecessary default features or services that could serve as attack vectors.
Turning off stuff you don't need.
Then, authentication and access controls are paramount. Strong, complex password policies, mandatory multi-factor authentication MFA wherever possible.
MFA everywhere.
Pretty much. And rigorously restricting administrative privileges to only those who absolutely need them. For network security, you'll want to disable all unused physical and logical ports, enforce secure communication protocols like TLS 1.2 or higher, and implement robust firewalls.
Locking down the network connections.
Remote access management demands that remote access features are deactivated unless absolutely essential. If used, they must be secured with strong passwords and virtual private networks, VPNs.
If you need remote access, make it super secure.
And finally, comprehensive endpoint protection. Deploying not just antivirus and anti-malware, but also advanced endpoint detection and response, or EDR, tools to monitor and respond to threats in real time.
Active monitoring on the devices.
Delving deeper, for network devices themselves, hardening gets incredibly granular and technical. It covers everything from encrypting all management access with robust protocols and strong ciphers.
Like SSH and HTTPS.
Exactly. Using SSH2 with a strong modulus, TLS 1.2+. Meticulously configuring network services like SNMP, ideally SNMP v3, disabling default communities, ensuring strict access control lists are in place.
Lots of detailed configuration.
Oh yes, using Radius, TechXS+O, or LDD for centralized authentication is key. Setting idle timeouts for management sessions 10 minutes or less, setting legal warning banners, securely encrypting local passwords, disabling unnecessary services, configuring centralized logging, synchronizing time with NTP, disabling risky things like source routing and proxy ARP, authenticating routing protocols, implementing ACLs on external interfaces, enabling DHCP snooping, regularly backing up configurations.
Wow, okay, that's a lot.
It is, but this level of detail directly supports the skills outcome of configuring network connections, services, security, and management for a given set of requirements, and selecting wireless devices and knowing how to configure them.
Because securing every possible entry point
Is the bedrock of network resilience.
While robust hardening builds our first line of defense, it's a fundamental truth, right? Risks can never be completely eliminated.
No, unfortunately not. 100% security is a myth.
However, they can certainly be significantly reduced and strategically managed. This requires ongoing risk review to constantly understand and recalibrate your company's acceptable risk appetite, what your organization is truly comfortable living with.
What level of risk are we okay with? It changes. It's vital to remember that some threat events are accidental, stemming from human error rather than malicious intent. This is precisely why training is paramount. It truly functions as the human firewall.
Back to the people.
Cybersecurity awareness training needs to be an ongoing mandatory process for all employees, technical staff, non-technical, privileged users, even executive leadership.
Everyone. Top to bottom.
Everyone needs to deeply understand company policies, especially on personal device usage, their responsibilities in reporting incidents, and the evolving nature of threats like malware and phishing. The goal is to foster a culture of ownership and proactive vigilance, not just passive compliance.
Make security everyone's job.
It's quite telling that a UK statistic reveals only 17% of businesses carried out staff training in the last year, despite 45% allowing employees to use personal devices for work.
That's a huge disconnect.
It represents a significant exploitable gap. Beyond training, passwords and access control remain simple, low-cost measures that are, paradoxically, often the most vulnerable.
The basics still matter.
Key recommendations: implement multi-factor authentication, MFA, wherever possible. Use password management software. Monitor and limit login attempts. Maintain databases of unacceptable passwords. Enforce strong pass standards or passphrases. And crucially, change all default passwords on every new device and software.
Get rid of admin password.
Please. Access control itself involves meticulously registering all users, providing them only the least privilege necessary for their role, and conducting regular access rights reviews by designated asset owners to ensure permissions remain appropriate.
Check who has access to what. regularly.
Yep, don't set it and forget it.
Okay. Moving beyond these general preventative measures and human-centric practices, let's now dive into the specific technical controls and countermeasures, the real backbone of our digital defense.
Right, the tech tools. These technical controls are the engines of active defense. First, consider patch management.
Keeping software updated?
When software vendors find vulnerabilities, they release patches. A robust patch management program isn't just about applying updates. It requires regular checks to identify exposure points, meticulous testing of patches in a controlled environment, always backing up critical systems first,
Test before you deploy.
and obtaining patches exclusively from reputable sources, like the OEMs. Staying updated with alerts from organizations like CISA, NIST, NCSC is absolutely critical.
No, it needs patching.
Next, system partitioning and segmentation. This is a powerful strategy. It involves logically grouping assets into zones or conduits based on risk, criticality, function, access requirements.
Like bulkheads on a ship.
Exactly. Think of it like creating watertight compartments. If one zone is compromised, the threat is contained, preventing its spread across the entire system. This is most effective when applied during the initial system design phase.
Build segmentation in from the start.
It relates directly to the skills outcome of designing a logical network design by building resilience into the architecture itself. Then we have intrusion detection systems, IDS, and intrusion prevention systems, IPS. And IDS passively monitors network traffic.
That's watching.
Right, copying and analyzing packet signatures to detect malicious content, but it doesn't actively block. Think of it as a sophisticated security camera and alarm system. Examples include SolarWinds, Kismet, Zeek.
Detects, doesn't prevent?
An IPS, on the other hand, actively monitors and blocks malicious content by analyzing packet headers and payloads in real time.
This one takes action.
This is like a proactive guard who can stop an intruder at the gate. Tools like Datadog, Splunk, Faildan offer these capabilities. Crucially, security information and event management, or SAM solutions, are designed to monitor, find, and stop threats in real time across your entire digital ecosystem.
SEM, the big picture view.
They achieve this by aggregating and correlating vast amounts of log data from various security devices, network components, systems, applications, providing forensic capabilities and contextual insights.
Connecting the dots.
This enables organizations to rapidly address breaches, monitor user activity, recognize abnormal behavior, and leverage advanced analytics. Popular SAM solutions include ArcSight ESM, IBM QRadar, Splunk. Of course, foundational are firewalls.
Can't forget firewall.
Hardware or hardware acting as essential buffers, filtering network traffic. And finally, robust malware and antivirus protection remains an indispensable layer for preventing the spread of malicious code and safeguarding data.
Basic AV is still needed.
Absolutely, still a key layer.
All these individual measures, hardening, SIM, patching, they're powerful on their own. But the true strength, the pinnacle of digital defense, comes from intelligently combining them. This brings us to the concept of defense in depth.
Ah, the layered approach.
A philosophy that stresses not relying on any single solution, but creating a multi-layered, interdependent defense.
That's the ultimate strategic insight. Defense in depth integrates multiple solutions across diverse aspects, people, technology, operations, to address a wide spectrum of assets and risks.
Okay.
Our sources highlight key elements: risk management strategies, cybersecurity architecture, physical security, network architecture and security, host security, security monitoring, and critically, the human element.
Covering all the bases.
The overarching goal isn't merely to prevent all breaches, which is, let's be honest, increasingly unrealistic.
Right. Assume breach sometimes.
Rather, it's to make any successful breach significantly more expensive, more difficult, and much more likely to be detected, while ensuring the company is more resilient and capable of responding and recovering effectively when an incident inevitably occurs.
Make it harder, detect it faster, recover better.
That's the mantra. It's about creating layers of deterrence and detection that an attacker must painstakingly navigate.
And because we have to be realistic, no system can ever be absolutely 100% secure. After all these mitigation measures are applied, there will always remain some level of residual risk.
Yep, the risk that's left over.
The strategic objective isn't to eliminate all risk, but to ensure that this residual risk falls within what the organization has defined as an acceptable risk.
Bringing it back to risk tolerance, that's a crucial distinction. Given that some residual risk is inevitable, having a well-defined incident response and recovery plan is not just a best practice, it's an absolute necessity.
You need a plan for when things go wrong.
Its purpose is multifaceted. It actively reduces or prevents data loss, minimizes system downtime, enables a thorough investigation, allows for quick restoration of data and systems, and ensures crucial compliance with regulations.
Okay. What's in a good plan?
A robust plan includes clear policies and procedures, defining what constitutes an incident, outlining the incident team's structure and responsibilities, establishing communication levels, setting severity ratings. The practical response plan itself should cover key contacts, initial risk assessment steps, secure backups, containment, eradication, recovery steps with estimated timeframes, and a mandatory post-incident review process.
Learning from what happened.
Absolutely critical. This review should assess not just the original vulnerability, but also any new ones created during the event or response. This iterative approach is the cornerstone of maintaining truly resilient systems.
Continuous improvement.
Exactly. And it aligns directly with your skills outcome of formulating a risk assessment and developing an appropriate security strategy to mitigate risks.
Okay, so now that we've outlined how to build our digital fortress and how to respond when it's tested, let's talk about optimizing that posture using established industry standards and frameworks.
Right, standing on the shoulders of giants.
These provide invaluable structure and guidance, preventing us from constantly reinventing the wheel. One of the most prominent and a key reference in our sources is the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, or CSF, now in its powerful 2.0 version.
Ah yes, NIST CSF 2.0, very important. The NIST CSF 2.0 offers a comprehensive yet remarkably flexible approach. It's built around the CSF core, which isn't a rigid checklist, but rather a robust taxonomy of high-level cybersecurity outcomes. This core is organized into 6 interconnected functions.
6 functions.
First, govern GV. This function is central. It establishes your organization's strategy, expectations, policy. It's the strategic hub.
The command center.
Then, identify. ID. Here, you gain a deep understanding of your current risks, cataloging assets, systems, suppliers.
Know thyself.
Protect. PR. This is where you implement safeguards, identity management, training, data security, platform security.
Building the defenses.
Detect. This focuses on continuously finding and analyzing possible attacks and compromises.
So seeing the bad stuff happen.
Respond. RS. These are the actions you take once an incident is detected, managing the event. Containment.
Putting out the fire.
And recover. RC. Finally, this is dedicated to restoring assets and operations affected by an incident back to normal.
Getting back to business.
Think of these 6 functions as spokes of a wheel, all connected to that central govern hub. Beyond the core, the CSF uses organizational profiles. Descriptions of your organization's current and/or target cybersecurity posture in terms of these core outcomes. You scope it, gather info, create the profile, analyze gaps between current and target states, and then implement an action plan. It's a continuous improvement cycle.
Assess, plan, do, check, act. Kind of.
Very much like that. Finally, there are CSF tiers, which characterize the rigor of your governance and management practices. Tier 1, partial. Tier 2, risk-informed. Tier 3, repeatable. And Tier 4, adaptive. These tiers help set the overall tone for how your organization approaches risk, reflecting its maturity.
How sophisticated are we?
This kind of comprehensive framework is exactly why our curriculum is designed to prepare students for industry-standard network certification exams. Understanding these frameworks isn't just theoretical, it's a critical career advantage.
Practical skills again.
We also see other vital standards referenced: CIS benchmarks, ISO IS 2701, NIST 800-171, HIPAA, PCI DSS, CMMC, all providing crucial guidance for specific contexts and industries.
Lots of standards to be aware of.
Depending on your industry, yes.
Earlier, we delved into device hardening and how incredibly challenging manual processes can be. Our sources highlight that manual hardening is slow, resource-intensive, costly, and often leaves IT teams in a constant state of catch-up.
Yeah, it's tough to do manually at scale.
But there's a powerful and increasingly essential solution here: automation.
The numbers here are compelling and underscore the urgency. Microsoft's research indicates a shocking 80% of ransomware attacks occur due to device misconfigurations.
80%, just from settings being wrong.
Essentially, yes, unhardened devices. This statistic alone highlights the sheer scale of the vulnerability. However, there's a powerful solution. A 2023 report by Marsh McLennan unequivocally concluded that automated hardening is the most effective security investment organizations can make, even surpassing other advanced cybersecurity technologies.
More effective than other fancy tools.
According to that report, yes. This is a game changer. Automated hardening significantly reduces manual intervention, drastically enhances effectiveness and ensures consistency across vast, complex systems.
Doing it the same way every time.
Concepts like zero disruption remediation and know before you go. Strategies allow organizations to predict and understand the potential impacts of changes before they are implemented.
Test the automation safely.
Right. Allows confident remediation without fear of unintended consequences or outages. It fundamentally shifts device hardening from a reactive, labor-intensive task to an efficient, proactive, and significantly more secure practice. Frees up valuable human resources for more strategic work.
Let the machines do the repetitive work.
Exactly.
It's abundantly clear that cybersecurity isn't just an IT department issue anymore, confined to a basement server room. Our sources emphasize that IT risk management is an integral component of a broader enterprise risk management, or ERM, system.
It has to be part of the bigger business picture. That's the real strategic takeaway. For truly effective risk management, it must be fully integrated into the entire systems development lifecycle, or SDLC, from a project's initiation to its ultimate disposal.
From cradle to grave for a system.
In the initiation phase, security requirements are defined. During development acquisition, security design decisions are guided by risk assessments. Implementation phase, security is verified.
Yeah.
Operation maintenance involves continuous assessment. Even disposal requires secure data sanitization.
Security at every step.
This holistic approach ensures security is inherently built in, not merely bolted on later. The NIST CSF itself helps by fostering improved communication between executives, managers, and technical practitioners.
Getting everyone talking the same language.
Ensuring cybersecurity is part of strategic business discussions, not just a technical problem for IT. Furthermore, our sources touch on integrating cybersecurity with privacy risks and diligently managing cybersecurity supply chain risk management, or CSCRM.
With supply chain, that's huge now.
It's essential to acknowledge the complex, globally distributed, extensive, and interconnected supply chain ecosystem. Managing these risks, especially for tech products and services, is increasingly critical. A vulnerability in one vendor can cascade through an entire network.
Your supplier gets breached, you get breached.
It happens all the time.
As we draw this deep dive to a close, let's look at some common pitfalls to avoid from cybersecurity firm PurpleSec. Because knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do.
Oh, definitely. Learning from mistakes. Preferably other people's mistakes.
What are the biggest ones?
First, don't delay. Every second lost in addressing a known vulnerability or starting an assessment increases your exposure. Time is critical.
Don't wait.
Second, don't get tunnel vision. Remember, security isn't solely about electronic assets. Include physical infrastructure and human risks. Look at the whole picture.
Broaden the scope.
Third, don't ignore your goals. Your risk assessments need a clear purpose to be effective and targeted. Why are you doing this?
Have a reason.
Fourth, don't begin in the middle. Always start with proper, comprehensive inventories and data flow mapping before remediation. Don't jump ahead.
Fundamentals first.
Fifth, don't rely on automated tools only. Tools are essential, yes, but the human factor, internal experts, external providers, C-suite leadership is critical for culture and understanding the nuances.
Need human brains too.
Finally, and perhaps most importantly, don't do it just once. Risk assessments are not a one-time event. They are iterative, ongoing.
Keep doing it.
Requiring continuous monitoring and optimization annually or whenever significant changes occur. This continuous vigilance is the true hallmark of a resilient organization.
It's a process, not a project.
Beautifully put. Hashtag outro.
Wow, what a journey. Today, we've navigated the intricate, often challenging landscape of cybersecurity risk management. We've seen how absolutely crucial it is to understand the multifaceted threats lurking out there. Human error, tech vulnerabilities, evolving malware.
A lot to consider.
We've meticulously mapped out the essential steps of a robust risk assessment, from identifying your assets to quantifying the potential impact of a breach. And we've explored powerful, actionable strategies for fortifying defenses, from device hardening to leveraging frameworks and automation.
Building that digital fortress, layer by layer.
For you, the future business and IT leaders, particularly those at the Dr. Sampak College of Business, this isn't just theory. It is the absolute bedrock upon which resilient, future-proof systems are built.
Foundational knowledge for your careers. We started this deep dive by asking how vulnerable we truly are. The answer, as we've explored, isn't that we're simply at the mercy of vulnerabilities.
Right.
It's that we possess the tools, the knowledge, and the strategic frameworks to actively manage, significantly reduce, and intelligently respond to those vulnerabilities.
Hmm.
It's about cultivating a mindset that is proactive, deeply strategic, and continuously adaptable in a rapidly evolving digital ecosystem.
Taking control.
This is the essence of strong telecommunications and data communications technology fundamentals in practice.
A huge thank you for tuning into the deep dive. We truly hope this exploration has given you a clearer, more empowered picture of cybersecurity risk management and maybe ignited your passion for lifelong learning in this vital field.
It's definitely a field that demands lifelong learning.
Don't forget to like this deep dive, subscribe to our channel for more invaluable insights and expert guidance, and please share it with your networks. Your support genuinely helps us bring more essential knowledge directly to you.
Yeah, we appreciate the support.
And as always, dive into the description below for those additional resources we mentioned. They're there to help you continue your learning journey.
Lots of good links down there. Now, consider this as you move forward. How will you, as a future leader and innovator, integrate this holistic approach to risk management into your next big project or shape your organization's strategic vision?
Good question to ponder.
Remember, strong connections aren't just technical, they're fundamentally strategic. Until next time, keep your packets clean and your networks resilient.